Devin Haney, looking past Loma, says he wants Gervonta Davis or Ryan Garcia winner. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So the big homie Devin Haney recently gave an interview and he spoke about his future in the 135 division.
I mean, these guys, they try to downplay the belts when they don't have any. Anybody that says belts don't matter, that's because they don't have any belts. They're trying to water it down, but at the end of the day, the true, boxing purists know that, the belts mean everything, especially when you have all of them. Not going to have all of them, so it shows that I am the best in the division.
And he had a lot to say, man, and I just wanted to get my 2 cents on what the big homie actually said. So to start out with, he said that he wants definitely the winner of the Gervonta Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. And it's going to depend on how he feels when he fights Loma. So he says he wants the winner, but he also said it's going to depend on how he feels when he fights Loma. So it's kind of mixed signals in there, but I think Devin wants to fight Gervonta Davis. I think he knows that that's the biggest fight for him, at the moment. And if he sticks around 135, that's going to, if Davis beats Ryan, it's all an if at this point.
Who do you fight? Yeah. Go to the standoff.
He's going to be the biggest star at one. Even though Devin's the champion and he's got all the belts, he's still not a bigger star than Gervonta Davis. Nowhere near. And it's almost crazy to say that, but it just is what it is at this point. And I think there's no way for Devin to avoid that fight. He's saying that he's going to move up in weight because he can't comfortably make 135 anymore. Where have I heard that at before? It seems like most fighters, once they've campaigned at a division for so long, and he's been there for a while, their bodies tend to outgrow the division, and they get tired of putting in all the extra work to make those weights. So I don't blame him for wanting to move up, but the problem with him moving up to 140 is there's really no credible fights for him at 140. Yes, he could fight Josh Taylor, that's a no-brainer, or he could fight Teofimo Lopez, but if Taylor beats Teofimo, there really won't be a reason for, a guy like Devin Haney to move up to 140 to fight Teo. You would most likely have to put him in there with Taylor, and I don't know how easy it would be to make the Taylor fight, or if Taylor would even be interested in that, because he's flirting with 147, moving up himself to 147. So it's gonna get weird when it comes to Devin Haney over the next year, because he can't make 135 anymore, yet there's no fights for him at 140. So he's almost stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think the only out for Devin would be, I think, if Devin fought Loma, beat Loma, dropped the titles, moved to 140, and then Gervonta would most likely become the champion. And here's the thing about it: Devin could go up there. He could fight at 140 for maybe 4, 5, 6 months. Most likely, Gervonta Davis isn't going to stay at 135 either. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now he can do this. He can, once he becomes champion. Once Devin leaves, if he beats Ryan, becomes champion, then he could campaign there and pretty much just fight the young guys coming up to fight the champion. Now the problem with that is you could run into a young guy who's better than you, and you can end up getting beat and become irrelevant, or you can move up to 140, drop all your titles again, as well, like Devin did, move up to 140 and fight Devin and get a boatload of money. And I mean a boatload. That fight would be worth so much money at that point. But the only problem with that is there's nobody else to fight after you fight Devin. So I think both of those guys potentially will move up in weight, but there's going to be, I think, a second thought for both of them about moving up, because there's nobody to fight at 140. You know, it's just not a stacked division like 130 and 135 is. But I doubt either one of those guys can make 130 anymore. I mean, Gervonta probably could make 130, but I don't know if he would want to make 130 just to, you know, get another, you know, B-level fight that he can get at 135. So he's kind of stuck in the division. You know, once those two guys, let's say they don't both immediately move up, Devin said if he feels good, you know, after the Vasily fight, he's going to campaign at 135 for a little while longer. But it's an inevitability of him moving to 140. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of will. It's a matter of when it comes to him moving. But if he feels good after the Vasily fight, most likely he's going to stick around for the winner of the Ryan Gervonta fight, which means we'll at least get 6 more months of Devin at 135. Now, what they do after that, I don't know. I feel like this. More than likely, Devin's going to have to move up to 140. And the only fight that's there for him that's a big-time fight is Josh Taylor. More than likely, he's going to have to move to 147. He's probably not going to campaign at 140 for that long. And it's crazy to say that because if y'all remember back when Manny Pacquiao moved from 135 to 140, I think he only had one fight, maybe 2 fights at 140, and then he immediately moved to 147. 140 has never really been a stacked division. I can't remember a time where 140 was super stacked with fighters. There's always fighters moving from 130, you know, past 140 or going through 140 to get to 147. But there's not really a lot of guys, big time names at 140. Now the names that are at 140 that are stars at the moment, they're all the guys from 135 who probably then got beat because they couldn't make the weight. So they just went ahead and moved to 140. So even if Devin moved from 135 to 140, he's still going to be facing up with the same names that he just probably either beat at 135 or that got out of the division that he would have fought anyway because they couldn't make the weight anymore. So there's not, what I'm saying is there's not, even at 140, there's not going to be the superstar names that he was fighting at 135. And I think a couple of those 135 guys are going to end up getting out of that division as well. It's not just going to be Devin. It's going to be more than likely Ryan's never going to fight at 135 again, 136. Gervonta's more than likely going to move out of the division. Shakur's not going to be there that long. Now, here's what could happen. Let's say that, you know, Gervonta wins against Ryan. Devin wins against Loma. They both, I doubt that Gervonta will immediately move up. I think he's going to try to get those titles before he moves up. But let's say Devin moves up. He beats Josh Taylor. 6 months goes by. You know, Gervonta gets all the titles. He beats Shakur Stevenson. Let's say they fight after the Ryan fight, you know, because Devin Haney moved up and dropped the titles. And them two guys fight it out for the titles. And let's say Gervonta beats Shakur. Well, there's nobody left with a credible name to fight at 135. So what's going to end up happening is Gervonta will probably move to 140. Ryan will be there still at 140. Shakur will probably move to 140. And there'll probably be some younger guys who don't have anybody, a real credible name to fight down there. So they'll stay there just to win a title real quick. And then they'll immediately jump to 140. And 140 will be the new stacked division. And 135 will be that division where guys just go there for a little while and then move straight to 140. That's my opinion. You know, will it play out exactly like that? We got to wait and see. It's all going to depend on the Lomachenko fight. If Loma beats Devin, Oh boy, does that stir up a pot of it's going to be a lot of stuff to be said if Loma wins. It's going to be a lot of stuff to be said if Ryan wins. Even if Loma gives him a good fight, goes 12 rounds with him and loses by a point or a half a point, then it opens up a new can of worms. And I think a lot of things are going to change in the division really, really soon. And you're going to see a lot of moving parts and a lot of people probably moving around in the division as soon as that happens. As soon as those fights are over with, you're going to start to see the pieces start to move really, really quickly. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, you can always hit my Gmail. It is flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are
you should know I got a new. You see, I never was the type to be sweet, diabetes type 2. Even if I like you, even if I wipe you, holla at another bitch, what I might do. A player, what you could call me, but a nuttin' ass nigga, what you would call me. I could call 3 bitches to the crib, give them some Xanax, start a football team. But I was overbooed up, too much drama, I made a few cuts. You was a bottom bitch, then you moved up, new shoes and such, I hooked you up, then you started tripping. If a bitch said hello, she was in for a natural ass whipping. So now I'm dipping, don't act like you don't know why, even though you're so fly, I gotta go by. Beautiful. I was struggling, now I'm bubbling. Why you stunting, acting so unusual? Well, here's something you should know. I got a new bitch. Verse number 2. Can I cucumber you without you? Wondering who else I'm fucking to. Man, I wish I didn't fuck with you. Matter of fact, I'm out of here. My wish is coming true. I'm about to call up number 2. Now she coming through and her friends coming too. Then I'm finna call up Sauce. Tell them bring some blunts, maybe we can trade off. It could've been me and you on some one-on-one shit, but your ass won't trip. Everything was all good when I was hitting bad, now I'm getting